Just a minute. Part of the session yesterday, guys. Sorry. Part of the yesterday session, just I told about what are the contents that we are going to discuss as part of the Spring Boot with microservices session. Okay. I told you that this course will take around 3 months of time. And okay. And if you want to get only live classes, then it will be 8K. And if you want including videos for 1 year validity, it will be for 10K. And our timing will be from 7:30 to 9 a.m. Sorry. So today I'm just going to talk about some introduction part. But some of the concepts names I have written here. But I told already if I just say, for example, Spring Boot basics. So internally, there are many concepts are available under understanding the Spring Boot basics. Okay, when I talk about JDBC, whenever I talk about JPA, okay, so there are internally multiple concepts are there. Just I have written only what is a major concept, but under that major concept, there are so many minor concepts are there that we are going to discuss in our sessions. Okay, right? So about the frameworks we are going to discuss. So actually today I'm going to talk very low level concept. Yeah. Today I'm going to start with a very low level concept. Next I'm going to talk about frameworks, about Spring basics, Spring core module, and Spring core annotations. After discussing some Spring framework knowledge, then I will start introduction to the Spring Boot framework. Okay, so now once all these concepts are completed in the Spring Boot, then we are going to enter into microservices. Okay, some concepts names I have written here, but under each topic, there are many subtopics are there. All those things that we are going to discuss as part of the microservices class. Okay, so this is the content just I have explained yesterday, like what we are going to discuss in Spring Boot and what we are going to discuss in the microservices. Okay, right. Now, all this content I'll copy paste into the MS Word document. And from today, what I will do is now I'm just going to write everything in MS Word document. The document will be shared with you through our Ashok IT portal. Okay. I'm just going to start the MS Word document. So just a minute. Sure. Okay, right. So let's continue our discussion today. Okay. If you look at everyone, yesterday I told you that what are the contents that we are going to discuss in the Spring Boot and microservices session. Okay, na? So directly we are not going to start with the Spring Boot because to enter into Spring Boot, first of all, all of you guys must know about some basic knowledge on Spring Framework. Without having the Spring Framework knowledge, directly we cannot enter into the Spring Boot because Spring Boot is the extension of the Spring Framework. That's why first what is required? Some Spring Framework knowledge is mandatory. Without that, we cannot directly enter and you cannot understand the Spring Boot. That is for sure. That's why, okay, that's why what I am doing now, first I want to talk about all the basics. First, I'm going to talk about very simple session for today. I'm going to talk about what is POJO class, because these terms we are going to use in the Spring Boot, Spring Boot and microservices. We are going to discuss about POJO class, Java Bean class, what is presentation layer, what is business layer, what is a data layer or data access layer. Okay, so we are going to discuss about what are the technologies required for implementing the presentation layer, similarly business layer, similarly data access layer. And slowly we are going to understand about what frameworks are available in Java. Okay, before Spring Framework, how applications were developed. And with the Spring Framework, how applications are developed. What are the Spring Framework modules? Okay, what is the benefit of using the frameworks? Are you getting my point? So these are all the introduction concepts required. Then only you can able to perfectly understand. Okay, right? That's why. So the session is, today our focus is on 2 points. Point number 1, understanding about POJO class and Java Bean. POJO and Java Bean is the first priority. Okay. Then identifying how we can differentiate the POJO and Java Bean. Okay, right? These are all going to play important role in interviews. Okay. So first we are going to look at about POJO and Java Bean. And to understand POJO and Java Bean, simple normal Java programming knowledge is enough. You don't require any specific technology like a servlet technology or JDBC technology, nothing, no knowledge is required. Just simple core Java knowledge is enough. Basic core Java program knowledge is enough to understand today's class. There is nothing more required. If you know about private variables, setter methods, getter methods, if you have that knowledge, then that is enough to understand today's class called POJO and Java Bean. Then I'm going to talk about, in a software application architecture, there are 3 layers. One is a presentation layer, second one is a business logic layer, third one is the data access layer. So we are going to understand about, suppose if I want to develop all these layers in Java, then which technologies are available? And if I want to use a framework, which frameworks are available? Okay, so how previously applications were developed, currently how applications are developing. Okay, we are developing the application. So these are all the things that we are going to discuss in the today's class. That is what our today's motto, right? So once you got this knowledge, next I'll talk about what is the benefit of developing the software applications by using frameworks. By using frameworks. Okay, what are the common functionalities that frameworks are going to provide for the applications? Are able to get my point, right? Okay, right. So how frameworks are helping the Java developers to develop the software applications, to develop the enterprise applications, large scale applications. Okay, na? Right. Slowly we are going to enter into Spring Framework. Next we are going to enter into Spring Boot. But first we need to understand about some Spring Framework basics. After learning Spring Framework basics, then only we can enter into Spring Boot. Okay, right? Right. So in the industry, how we are going to develop applications? You are going to develop applications by using Spring Boot and microservices. Spring Boot with microservices. But directly we cannot enter into Spring Boot. Before that, what knowledge is required for you? Spring Framework knowledge is required, definitely. Basics of Spring Framework and also the Spring Framework basic annotations. These are all mandatory. Then only we can start working with the Spring Boot. Okay, then we can enter into microservices, right? So coming to today's session, today we are understanding about two things called as understanding Pojo and Java Bean. Okay, guys, what we are going to understand today, Pojo and Java Bean is what we are going to understand today. Am I clear, folks? Today we are going to understand about what? Understanding what and what? Pojo and Java Bean. Okay. So can anybody tell me from online people or even from offline people, can somebody tell me Pojo stands for? Do you know POJO, Pojo?
Plain old object, plain old Java object.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. You're right. So Pojo stands for plain old Java object. Okay. What is Pojo stands for? Plain old Java object. Okay. Plain old Java object. That is called Pojo. Pojo stands for plain old Java object. Okay. Now let us understand. Actually, actually, Pojo and Java Bean both are the two types of classes in the Java project development. Because when you are working with the Spring Framework and Spring Boot microservices, we are going to write some Pojo classes in the project. We are also going to write some Java Bean classes in the project. That's why first we need to understand about what is Pojo class and what is the Java Bean class. In an interview, suppose you are coming for an interview and I am the interviewer, I'll ask a question. Hey, do you know what is the difference between a Pojo and a Java Bean? This is a very popular question in interview. Right, okay? You learned entire Spring Framework, you developed big applications. Okay, you tried very hard in learning more annotations, everything, but you forgot to learn this point, for example. Right, what? There is no use, you are going to lose the interview. That interview you are going to lose. Correct? So we will cover our session in all the aspects. Okay, right? So in this total Spring Boot and with microservices, definitely that I'm going to give you a lot. I'm going to share a lot of knowledge with you. Okay. I'm just going to simply open all entire knowledge, whatever is there in my mind, and I'm going to just open it and I'm going to keep everything in front of you. But it all depends on how you people are going to receive it. Because I'm very far with this Spring Boot with microservices. Okay, right. So I tried very hard to get a lot of skills on this. So all those things I'm going to keep in front of you so that you can learn easily. You no need to try very hard like me. Okay, right? So we'll start with that. We are understanding about a concept called as plain old Java object. First of all, what are Pojo and Java Bean? Both are Java classes only. Both are called what only? Java classes only. Java classes only, right? So first I'm writing my point what? Pojo and Java Bean are what? Both are the Java classes. Java Bean means it is one class. Pojo is also nothing but one Java class. Pojo and Java Bean are the Java classes, right? But now we need to understand, okay, now we need to understand then how we can able to differentiate the Pojo and Java Bean. First of all, Pojo means a simple statement is what? It is a normal Java class without any special requirements. So what is the meaning of without any special requirements? It is just a normal Java class if you create without any special requirements. I'll tell you what the meaning of special requirements. We create a normal Java class, right? Normal Java class without any special requirements. Without any special requirements. If you create any normal Java class by following the Java naming conventions, That class is called as what class? Pojo class. I'll give examples to understand Pojo class. Don't worry about that. Okay, na? Right. First of all, you need to understand about what is Pojo class. Pojo class means what? Pojo and Java Bean both are the classes. What is Pojo class? What is the meaning of Pojo class? It is nothing but just a normal Java class without any special requirements. It is a class which is created just by following the Java naming conventions. You know Java naming conventions? Whenever you write the class name should follow camel case, right? Pascal case, camel case, uppercase, lowercase, right? Class name should follow Pascal case. Variable name and method name should follow camel case, right? Keywords are in lowercase, constants are in uppercase. So just like normal Java naming conventions, whatever you know, if you write a Java class like that, then that class is going to be called as what? Pojo class. Okay, right? Are you able to get my point now? Right. I'll tell you now. Sorry. Okay, right? So tell me, what is a Pojo class now? Pojo class is nothing but Pojo class is a normal Java class. Normal Java class created without any special requirements. I'll tell you what the meaning of special requirements. Don't worry. Okay. If a normal Java class is created without any special requirements, it is called Pojo class. I'll tell you that. For example, I'll write examples also, but first, just it should follow Java naming conventions. What is the meaning of this? Okay, what is the meaning of this? I'll try to write. Okay, what a Pojo class is. First thing, if you write a class without implementing any interfaces, normally you write when you write a class in Java, a class can implement an interface, right? If you write a class can extend another class, which is called parent class. Am I right or not? Good. So whenever you are writing some classes, your class can implement an interface, or your class can able to extend a parent class, right? But here, whenever you are writing Pojo class, what does it mean? Your class should not implement any interface. No need to extend any class. No special requirements, no? Just write a normal Java class without implementing any interface, without extending any class. You know already inheritance, right? In inheritance, you know that whenever you are writing a child class is extending the parent class, right? In interfaces, you know that a class is implementing interface. So without any special requirements means what? Your class is not going to have any implementing interfaces. Your class is not extending any parent class. Your class is not using any annotations. Okay. Then your class is going to be called as what type of class? Pojo class. Your class is called as what type of class now? Pojo class. Okay, right? I'll tell you that. Once again, I repeat that. Okay. See, what it can have, I will tell you. Don't worry. What it can have, I will tell you. Then you are going to understand about Java Bean also. Then we can compare Pojo and Java Bean. Am I clear with the point now? Okay, right? Good. So first of all, tell me a Pojo class. Okay, Pojo class does not extend any. A Pojo class does not extend any parent class. You understand, everybody? A POJO class does not extend any parent class. Does not implement any interface. Okay, na guys? POJO class does not extend any parent class, does not implement any interface, and does not use any annotations. That type of classes are called as what? POJO class. Simply what a POJO class can have? Variables it can have. What it can have? Variables. Try to understand variables. Constructors. Okay, constructors also we can write now. So variables, constructors, setter getter methods, optional. It's not compulsory that it must contain setter getter methods. Optional. Okay. Okay. Online people, I think you might have idea on all these things, whatever I'm talking about. Okay. Am I clear with you so far, guys? Did you understood about what I'm talking about POJO class? Next, I'll talk about Java Bean class also. But initially, first I'm talking about the POJO class. So I'm asking you guys that did you understood about so far whatever I have explained?
Yes, sir. Only
Yes,
we don't have experience on the POJO class, but yes,
Yeah.
normal class,
Yeah.
yes,
No.
understand.
Yeah. Okay. In spring, anyhow, we are going to understand, but okay. Yeah. Am I clear with you, all the remaining guys, whoever is attending this session? Am I clear with so far that I am trying to explain, whatever I'm trying to explain? Am I clear with you so far?
yes, sir.
Yeah. So if any query, then please let me know in the chat box. Okay, just see here. I'll write examples also, you don't worry. So I will try to write some examples initially. Okay, right. Observe it. For example, see here. For example, see here. I want to write. Okay, sure. Look at this. I'll tell you today we are going to understand the difference, everything for sure. See here, guys. Suppose I'm writing a class like this. Okay, everybody try to understand. Now, for example, I'm writing one class. Okay, suppose I'm writing a class like this: public class employee. Okay, and I have a variable called int employee ID, EMP ID, string employee name, ename. Okay, na? I have the employee ID and employee name. Now I'm writing a constructor. Public employee of, with two parameters I want to write. Because we all guys know about constructor, class, all these kind of things. Okay, here we are writing this dot EMP ID equals to EMP ID. Next, this dot ename equals to ename. You guys know about why we are writing this keyword here? Okay, I mean, why you are writing this actually? See, EMP ID, ename are called parameters of this constructor. So what are the names of the parameters here? EMP ID. What is the name of the instance variable? EMP ID. Both names are same. Then how do you differentiate, how to assign this parameter value to this instance variable? How can you differentiate both of them? By using this keyword. Okay. If you are not writing this keyword, do you know what happens if I write simply EMP ID is equal to EMP ID? You know, parameter is called a local variable. Parameters are called what variables? Local variables. What is going to happen here? Local variable value is again assigned to the local variable only. What is the use of assigning the local variable value to the local variable only? Same variable value, again you are assigning to same variable. What's the use of this? Okay, this local variable value you have to assign to instance variable, correct? So guys, understand this, everybody. Tell me, these two are called what variables? Instance variables. Okay, tell me, these two are called what variables? Local variables.
Local variable.
Yes, because these are called parameters. Always remember, parameters are called what variables only? Local variables, no doubt. Parameters are nothing but local variables. It is constructor parameters or it is method parameters. If it is a method parameters or whether it is a constructor parameter, these are all called what variables only? Local variables. Tell me what happens if I write a statement like this. EMPID is equal to EMPID. This local variable value is again assigned to local variable only. But what is our requirement? This local variable value we want to assign to the instance variable. Then how can you differentiate the two variables if they are having the same name? By using this. This tells that this is an instance variable, current object. It's a variable of the current object. Okay, right. Tell me, what should I write here? This dot EMPID. Are you able to follow me now? If I don't write this, will you get any error? Suppose I am not writing the this here. Will I get the error or not? No error. But what happens? We don't get any error, but what happens? Local variable value is again assigned to the local variable. But we don't want to use constructor. We don't want to write a constructor to assign the local variable value to the local variable. Constructor is used to initialize the instance variables, correct? So we use this dot EMPID. Okay, I'm done. Almost. Observe here. I've written one class employee with EMPID, ename are the variables, and I've defined one constructor like this. Okay, right? And also I have created some 2-3 other methods. And finally, I'm closing the class. Okay, now I can call this class as a Pojo class. I can call this class as which class? Pojo class. If you look at the class here, is this class is implementing any interfaces? No. This class is implementing any interface? No. This class is extending any other superclass? No. Any annotations I'm using in this class? No annotations are used. Very good. Now you tell me finally, this class does not have any special requirements, no? Yes, simply what it contains? Variables, constructors, methods. Sir, can I write setter and getter methods? Optional. If you want, you write. Okay, right? So tell me what a Pojo class can have. A Pojo class can have variables, constructors, setters and getters are optional, and other methods optional. Able to follow me now? Now this class is called as what class? Pojo class. Pojo class. Are able to follow me now? Right? Now my question, can I use this class in a simple core Java program development? Can I use this class? I'm developing a simple core Java project. Can I use this class in that project development? If I need an employee class with employee ID and employee name, can I use this class in that project? Yes. Suppose I'm creating a Spring Framework project. There also I need one employee. Can I use this class, this employee class in the Spring Framework application also? Yes. Which means what, this class will fit in every project. Every project, I mean, whether it could be Spring Framework project or any other Java project or a normal simple Java project, this class will fit everywhere. This type of classes are called as what classes? Pojo classes. Are you able to follow me? This type of classes are called as what classes now? Pojo classes. So tell me what a Pojo class can have. What a Pojo class can have. Yeah. Tell me once again. These are Lombok annotations. Okay, I think you have already some knowledge. You will also learn later, don't worry. Okay, tell me now. These are called, okay, this is called what type of class now? Pojo class, okay? So tell me what a Pojo class can have. Okay, guys. A Pojo class can have what? A Pojo class can have. Tell me what a Pojo class can have.
Instance
Variables. Variables, nothing but fields. Fields, variables, attributes, whatever the name. See, sometimes we are calling properties, sometimes we are calling variables, sometimes we are calling fields, attributes. Okay. Suppose if I ask what are the attributes of an employee, then you are saying what? Employee ID, employee name, salary, department, gender. These are all called what? Employee attributes. Okay. Person also having attributes, no? A person is having what? Height, weight, color, name. Am I right or not? Gender. These are all called what? Attributes of a person. Very good. Attributes are also called what? Variables. They are also called as what? Fields. Okay. Now, a Pojo class can have variables or fields. Any name we can use. Next, tell me what it can have. Constructors. Why I'm using the word constructors, not constructor? Because in a class, we can also define multiple constructors. Okay. No arguments constructor. With arguments constructor. That is also called as parameterized constructor, parameterless constructor. Constructors are two types. Am I right or not? If you don't write any constructor by default, there will be a default constructor created by Java. We know that. Very good. Okay. Variables are fields. Second, constructors. Third, getters and setters. What I am writing? Optional. It can also contain other methods. Optional. Not compulsory. Okay, correct? Now you tell me these are all comes under what type of class? Pojo class. Pojo class. So what is a Pojo class? Basically, it is a normal Java class created without any, a normal Java class created without any special requirements. What is the meaning of special requirements? It does not extend any class. It does not implement any interface. It does not use any annotation. Simply it contains what? Variables, constructors, getter, setters. If you want, you write optional, and other methods if you want, you write that is also optional. That type of classes are called as what classes? Pojo classes. These type of classes are called as what? Pojo classes. Are you able to follow me now? Right. Yeah. Example. Example, same example I'm writing. Public class employee. In employee class, I'm creating one variable called employee ID. I'm also creating another variable called ename. Then I'm defining a constructor. First, you are going to understand today about what is the Java Bean class and what is the Pojo class. Okay, cool. Now here we are going to write this dot empid is equal to empid. This dot ename is equal to ename. Okay, right. So setters, getters, I told already it is optional. Other methods are also optional. Okay. For example, I'm writing public void show. Show is one method, other method with some logic. Display the employee ID and display the employee name. Now tell me. Okay, now tell me this class is called as what class? Pojo class. This is a normal Java class. Just are you following the Java naming conventions or not? You check, that's it. Okay. Yes, employee, E capital letter. Yes, I'm following the Pascal case here. This is constructor. Yes, I'm following the proper constructor rules. Are able to follow me? Okay, just you verify whether are you following the Java naming conventions or not. Now tell me this class is called what class? Pojo class. Okay, this class does not extend any superclass. This does not implement any interface. It doesn't use any annotations. Now you tell me this type of classes are called as what classes? Pojo classes in the Java projects. Very good. Next. Pojo class, okay, understood. It's just normal Java class. Right. Next, we are talking about another type of class. What is another type of class? Java Bean. Because you know the class, you know the variables, you know the constructors, you know setter, getter methods. That's why I'm starting this topic first. Okay. Which one I'm talking about next one? Java Bean.
Sir, one thing to ask here.
Yeah.
So like, can we extend Pojo classes? So will it remain the Pojo class if any other class is extending
Actually,
that
people
class?
say, Actually, people say that if a child class is created from a parent class, then again the child class is also called as a Pojo class, but actually it is not a correct statement.
Right,
Pojo
because
class means it does not extend anything simply.
yes, because like you mentioned, na, because the inherited class will not be a Pojo class. So
Yes,
like how is that?
exactly. Yes.
So the parent class would remain as Pojo class then.
No, only the parent class is going to be the Pojo. If any child is created for it, that child is not called Pojo actually. People are writing with their own knowledge in different websites like that, but technically it is not correct. It is not following the Pojo rules otherwise. Okay, so it is not called Pojo.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, cool. Now, coming to the point here. Now we are talking about second one. Who is the second class here? Java Bean. Very good. We want to understand about what is the next class here. Java Bean. Very good. See, Java Bean is also looks like a Pojo class, but of course I'm going to tell you the rules now. Java Bean is nothing but a Java class which is created with special requirements. Pojo class is a normal Java class created without any special requirements, but Java Bean is a Java class created with a special requirements. Then we are calling it as a Java Bean class. What are the special requirements? Okay, number one, variables must be private. Variables must be private. Number two, the class must contain no argument constructor. The class must contain what type of constructor? No argument constructor means what? Parameterless constructor. What type of constructor? Parameterless constructor. And the class must contain public setter and getter methods. Public setter and getter methods. Are able to follow what the point I'm saying now? Public setter and getter methods. Fourth one, the class must implement serializable interface. Which interface? Serializable. 1, 2, 3, 4. Totally 4 rules I told. Okay. So a Java Bean is nothing but it is also a Java class, but which is created with special requirements. What are the special requirements? All the variables must be private. Second, the class must contain no arguments constructor. Third, setter and getter methods are mandatory, not optional, compulsory. Setter and getter methods are mandatory. Fourth one, the class must implement a serializable interface. right? Suppose if a Java class is following these requirements, then that class is going to be called as what class? Java Bean class. Are you able to follow me now? Right? Go try to understand now. These two types of classes we are going to use based on our requirement in our projects when we are developing Spring projects. Means what? In our Spring projects or Spring Boot, microservice, any Spring projects, that we are sometimes we are going to create Java Bean classes. Sometimes we are also going to create Pojo classes. Are you able to follow me now? Right. Try to understand the point now. These are all going to be used in Spring. Based on the requirement, sometimes we only create Pojo class. Sometimes we create Java Bean class. Java Bean class. Able to follow me now? Right? So like that, we are going to create both the classes, Pojo classes and Java Bean classes in the application development using Spring. With either Spring Framework or in when you are working with the Spring Boot or when you are working with the microservices. Okay? Right. That's why these are the first basic things that you must know. Am I clear with the point now? Right. So what I'm trying to tell now, first of all, could you guys tell me what is Java Bean class? It is a Java class created with a special requirements. Let us understand what are the special requirements. What are the special requirements? Yes, the special requirements are, tell me, what are the requirements now? Number one, variables must be private. What about Pojo class? What about Pojo class? In a Pojo class, variables must be private or can be protected public also? Variables must be private only or can be protected public also? Tell me. In a Pojo class, the previous one which I have explained, do you have any specific rule that variables must be private only? No, they can be public, they can be protected, they can have default access modifier. Correct? But what about Java Bean class? What about Java Bean class? In Java Bean class, what happens now? All the variables must be private only. All the variables must be what only? Private only. Private only. Did you guys understood? Of course, at the last we'll discuss about the difference between what and what Pojo class and Java Bean class. That differentiation we will do. We will differentiate the Pojo class and we'll differentiate what class? Java Bean class. Are you able to follow me? Right. Okay. Try to understand. Okay, let's start with. Variables must be what now? Private. Second, I told which constructor is mandatory? Variables must be private. No argument constructor is mandatory. What is mandatory? No argument constructor. Do you know what is the meaning of no argument constructor? Parameterless constructor. That is mandatory. Third point is what? Setter and getter methods for the variables is no. Okay, public only is mandatory. Is mandatory. Next, class must implement java.io.serializable. I'm just writing the fully qualified name interface. You guys tell me, these are the requirements. What are the variables must be private. Okay. And what type of constructor is mandatory? No argument constructor is mandatory. What methods are compulsory? Setter and getter methods are also compulsory. Class must implement java.io.serializable interface. Actually, what is the use of this interface? It is used for converting Java object into byte streams. Suppose in the projects, we are going to provide, or we are going to pass the data from service 1 to service 2. From where to where? We are going to pass the data from service 1 to service 2. Service 1 to service 2. We are passing the data. Service 1 is one application. Service 2 is another application. Two applications. Service 1, service 2 both are running in different places, different systems. Now, if I want to pass the data or Java object from service 1 to service 2, service 1 means it is application 1. This is application 1. It is running on one computer, means one system. Application 2, another service. It is running on another system. Now we want to pass the data from application 1 to application 2. There is an object in application 1. This object I want to transfer to application 2. If I want to transfer this object to the application 2, first of all, this object must be converted to byte stream. Means bytes. Are you getting my point? Byte stream means stream of bytes, zeros and ones otherwise. Okay, correct. So tell me, this is one object available at where? Application 1. I want to send this object to whom? Application 2. How to send this object to application 2? By converting this object into byte stream. If I want to convert this object into byte stream, the class of this object must implement what interface? Serializable. Then only this object can be converted to byte stream. Are you able to follow me now? Right. So tell me, what are the special requirements for the Java Bean? Variables must be private. No argument constructor is mandatory. Setter and getter methods for the variables is also mandatory. Class must implement what? Java.io.serializable interface. Did you guys understood what I am trying to tell you now? Right? Very good. Now you tell me, if a class is following all these special requirements, then that class is called as what class? Java Bean. Java Bean. In our further programming, when you are working with a Spring, when you are going to learn the Spring framework, sometimes we are going to create what classes in the project? Pojo classes. Sometimes we are also going to write what classes in the project? Java Bean. Based on the different requirements, sometimes we are going to create what classes? Pojo classes. Sometimes we are going to work with which classes? Java Bean classes. Are you able to follow me now? Java Bean classes. Okay. So these Pojo classes and Java Bean classes combinedly, in Spring terminology, they are called as Spring Bean classes. What classes? Spring Bean classes. Spring Bean classes means what? They either may be Pojo classes or maybe Java Bean classes. So whenever we are going to write applications using Spring framework in further classes, we are going to call them as what? Spring Bean classes simply. In shortcut, what is the name? Spring Bean classes. Spring Bean classes means what? They can be either Pojo classes or they can be Java Bean classes. Commonly in Spring terminology, we are going to call them as what classes? Spring Bean classes. So you are going to understand all these things. But first you need to know about what is a Pojo class and what is Java Bean class. And what is the difference between the Pojo class and the Java Bean class. Okay. Right. First of all, we should know about this. Next, I'm going to talk about what are frameworks and all. Okay, right. So tell me, example I'm writing. For example, I'm writing, you tell me. Everybody. Sorry. Folks, everyone. I'm writing one class. You guys understand and tell me whether it is a Java Bean class or not. Public class employee. Okay, na? Implements serializable. You know, implements is a keyword. Extends is a keyword. Implements is a keyword. Extends means class, extending the class, parent class. Implements means implementing the interface. Implementing the interface. Okay, right? Now this is called name of the interface. What's the name of the interface? Serializable interface. This is called marker interface. It is one marker. Marker interface means it does not contain any methods. It is empty. That empty interface is called marker interface. Okay. Now here, guys, observe it. Private, everybody understand it. Private int empid. Private string ename. I am writing a constructor public employee of int empid, comma string ename. Okay, I'm writing this dot empid equals to empid. Okay, I am also writing this dot ename is equal to ename. I'm writing something like this. Okay, now guys, this dot empid is equal to empid. This dot ename is equal to ename. I'm also writing all the setter methods and getter methods. I'm closing the class. Now I'm asking a question. You guys tell me, can I call this employee class as a Java Bean class or not?
Not.
Okay. Online people, you can also write your answer in the chat box. Or you can also directly unmute yourself and you can speak to me. Can we call this particular Java class employee as a Java Bean class or not?
Yes.
Can I call it as a Java Bean class or not?
No, sir, you cannot
No,
call
sir.
it because of employee constructor has a parameter based
Yes.
constructor.
Yes, exactly. First of all, this is not called as a Java Bean. It is not a Java Bean class. Why it is not a Java Bean class? What is the problem? In the class, see, what is the first rule? What is the first requirement? Variables must be private. Okay. Rule number 1 satisfied. Second, no argument constructor is mandatory. Tell me, do you have a no argument constructor? No. What type of constructor we have? Parameterized constructor we have. But what type of constructor is also mandatory? No argument constructor is mandatory. Means parameter less constructor is mandatory. Tell me, you are writing parameterized constructor, correct? If you write parameterized constructor, then tell me, will Java will automatically provide parameterless constructor or not? You know, if you don't write any constructor in class, then Java will automatically provide a default constructor. Default constructor is also parameterless constructor only. Now you tell me, this class employee has a parameterless constructor or not? Is this class contains parameterless constructor or not? What is your answer?
No, sir, it will not because you have it will stop as soon as you write a declare or define a constructor.
Correct.
The
You are right.
default.
Yes. Guys, observe it. One thing to know that when Java will write parameterless constructor or a default constructor to your Java class, when Java will write default constructor to your Java class, if you don't write any constructor in your class, then only Java. What type of constructor? default constructor. But tell me, already you are writing one constructor here in your class. Which type of constructor you are writing? Parameterized constructor you are writing. If you write parameterized constructor, then definitely Java doesn't write default constructor. Able to follow me now? You tell me now, in this class, which constructor is missing? What type of constructor required in a Java Bean class? No argument constructor means parameterless constructor is required. But this class does not contain parameterless constructor. It is only containing parameterized constructor, but does not contain the parameterless constructor. That's why this is not what class? Java Bean class. Am I clear with that? Okay. Sir, what if I remove this constructor? Now, you guys tell me, is it a, I'm writing like this, two private variables, define the setters methods and getters methods. Setters methods and getters methods, close the class. Tell me, is it a Java Bean class or not? Yes, because what's the rule number 1? Variables must be private, means the special requirement. Second requirement is what? No argument constructor is mandatory. Tell me, in this class, do you have any no argument constructor, means parameterless constructor? Yes, because you are not writing any constructor, then who will write the constructor? Java. What type of constructor Java will write? Default constructor. Default constructor is also comes under no argument constructor only. So it has the no argument constructor. So first rule is cleared. Second rule is cleared. Third rule is what? Setter and getters. Yes, third rule is cleared. Fourth rule is what? Class must implement serializable. Fourth rule is cleared. Now you tell me, this class is going to be called as what class now? Java Bean class. Yes, it is a Java Bean class. Are you able to follow me now? Right. So tell me, when you're developing applications using Spring Boot with microservices, sometimes we are going to write in our project Pojo classes. Sometimes we are also going to write what type of classes? Java Bean classes. But if anybody asks in an interview, what is the difference between Pojo and a Java Bean? Can you answer now? Can you tell me what is the difference between Pojo and a Java Bean? Pojo is just a general Java class without any special requirements. Java Bean is a Java class, but with the special requirements are there. That's why there is a difference now. In Pojo class, variables may be private or protected or public or default also, any access modifier. But in Java Bean class, variables must contain private access modifier only. Variables must be private. In Pojo class, default constructor is, or no argument constructor is not compulsory. But in the Java Bean class, mandatory. In Pojo class, setter getter methods are optional. But in Java Bean class, mandatory. Like that, you need to tell there is a difference between what and what Pojo class and a Java Bean class. Did you guys understood what I'm trying to say? Online people, did you guys understood about how you can differentiate the Pojo class and Java Bean class? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now,
Sir, one thing to ask here again.
Yeah.
Sir, so what if we inherit Java Bean class?
Again, the same thing. The Java Bean class can only implement a serializable interface. It should not extend any other class.
Okay. And sir, what if
Now-
we extend this Java Bean class to another class? So,
And again, the same thing. That is not going to
Okay,
be called
okay,
as a
right.
Java Bean class.
right.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Tell me, I want to start writing some example. Here, what is my example? Public class. Okay, instead of taking, I can take employee also, but I'm taking my class name as customer. Customer. Private. Let's take, for example, I can take int or long customer ID. Private string customer name. customer name, public, customer, directly I'm assigning. Customer ID is equal to 101 static values. I want to initialize with the static values. Customer name is equal to John. Tell me, this is called what type of constructor? This is called what type of constructor? Parameter less constructor. It is called what type of constructor? Parameter less constructor. They are also called as no argument constructor only, na? Very good. Next, of course, I'm not writing, but next I also have what and what methods? Getters and setters. Now you tell me, is this class is a Java Bean class or not? Is this class is called as a Java Bean class or not?
No, sir.
Yes, this class is called as Java Bean class or not? Huh? No. Why? It is not implementing the serializable interface. The class must implement what interface also? Serializable. Okay, I have a question to you. Can I call this class as a Pojo class or not?
Yes, we
Can I call this customer class as a Pojo class or not is my question. Anybody from online?
Yes.
Yes.
Can we call it as a Pojo class or not?
No.
Yes, sir, we can call it as Pojo class.
Yes, we can call it as a Pojo class. Why? I told already what is required for Pojo. What is required for a Pojo? Variables required. Constructors you can write. Getter, setters, optional. If you write also no problem. Are you able to follow me now? Yes. Then you tell me this class I can call it as what class? Pojo class. Pojo class. No problem. I can call it as a Pojo class. Okay. Now, if I write implements serializable. Tell me this class can be called as a Pojo class or not?
No, sir, we cannot call it as a Pojo class.
Actually, I told you what Pojo class does not have any special requirements, right? It should not implement any interface, should not extend any class, should not use any annotations. The type of class is called what? Pojo class. But here the class implements what? One small exception to these rules of Pojo class is what?
Bean
Even
class.
though the class implements a serializable, only serializable, still that class can be called as Pojo class. Except the serializable, remaining interfaces not allowed. I mean, we don't call it as Pojo class. Okay, one small exception to the requirements of the Pojo class is what? Sometimes it can implement a serializable interface. Now, tell me now, if you consider that, okay, Pojo is allowed to implement serializable, then can we call it as Pojo class or not?
Yes, sir.
Pojo class. Can we call it as a Java Bean class or not? Can we
Yes,
call
sir.
this as a Java Bean class or not?
Yes.
Huh? Yes. So tell me, if I create any Java Bean class, all Java Bean classes can also be the Pojo classes. Of course, all Pojo classes are not the Java Bean classes, but all Java Bean classes are the Pojo classes. Are you able to follow me now? I told you actually Pojo class should not implement any interface, should not extend any class, should not use any annotations. Then we call that class as a what class? Pojo class. One exception to the rule is what? A Pojo class can implement serializable interface. Java Bean also can implement serializable interface. Now you tell me this Java Bean class, can I call it as Pojo class or not?
Not.
Yes. It is Java Bean class. I can also call it as which class? Pojo class.
class.
Means what is the point to tell you that every Java Bean class, every Java Bean class is also a Pojo class, but are not Java Bean class. Are you able to follow me now? This is important. This is important. Anybody having any doubt, online people? Did you understand my statement? Did you understand my statement? So what are you learning today? Before we enter into the frameworks topic, what we are discussing today? Just I want to start the session with the concepts with that you know already. Because constructor, you know, private, protected, public, you know, setter, getter methods also, you know, constructor, you know. That's why I'm starting with this topic. Just to tell you what is called Pojo class and what is called Java Bean class. Are you able to follow me now? Right. So can I, if you are coming for an interview, you'll ask a question. Tell me, can we call a Java Bean as a Pojo class or not? What answer you have to say? Can we call a Java Bean class as a Pojo class or not? I'm asking this question. Then what is the answer you have to say? Yes. Can we call all Pojo classes also as Java Bean classes or not? What answer you have to say? No.
No.
These questions will definitely come in interview. Are you able to follow me now? Right. Because just now I told you all Java Bean classes are also Pojo classes, but all Pojo classes are not the Java Bean classes. Are you able to follow me now? Right. Very good. So this is Pojo. I'll write like a note. Actually, a Pojo class does not implement any interface. But one exception is that it can implement serializable interface. Only serializable. Serializable interface. Okay. Now, question. You guys tell me answer for this question. Guys, this is very important. Okay, you got, I have covered in this one session around 2 to 3 very important questions for interview. In the very first session I covered around 2 to 3 important questions for you in interview. Okay. Question. Question. What is the difference between Pojo and Java Bean class? Could you guys tell me the answer? What is the difference between Pojo and Java Bean class? Could you guys tell me some answer for me? Pojo class means what? A class created without any special requirement. Java Bean is a class created with special requirements. First difference. Pojo is a class created without any special requirements. Okay, I'll decrease the font size a little bit so that it will be easy. Okay, tell me Pojo is a class created without any special requirements. Next. A Java Bean. Java Bean is what? Is a class created with the special requirements. Second point. Any other difference? Any other difference?
Pojo does not implement any
Pojo.
other.
Okay, just follow naming. That's without any special requirements. Next. In Pojo class, variables can be. Tell me. In Pojo class, variables can be private or protected or public or default. Am I clear with this now? What about Java Bean class?
They should be private.
Yes, they must be private. In Java bean class, variables must be private. Now tell me, for the third difference? Third difference, constructors. Very good. Tell me, in Pojo class, it can have any type of constructor, right? Parameterless constructor, parameterized constructor, any type of constructor it can have. In Pojo class, it can have, okay. Or in Pojo class, I'll write like this. Okay. No argument constructor is not mandatory. No argument constructor means what? Parameterless constructor is not mandatory. What about Java bean class? In Java bean class, what is mandatory? No argument constructor is mandatory. For the fourth difference, last difference, in Pojo class, getters and setters are getters and setter means getter setter methods. Getters and setters are optional. Tell me, what about Java bean class? Yes, in Java bean class, getters and setters are mandatory. Tell me, these are all the differences between what and what? Pojo class and Java class. Very, very important question for you in the interview. Now I'm just writing like a note. I just now told you all Java bean classes are Pojo classes, but all Pojo classes are not Java bean classes. Okay. All Java bean classes are what classes? Pojo classes, but all Pojo classes are not Java bean classes. This is important point. Tell me, today we have discussed till this point. So today, what is our requirement? We want to know about what is called Pojo class and what is called Java bean class. In our Spring project, we are going to use sometimes Pojo classes and sometimes we are also going to write Java bean classes. Combinedly in Spring terminology, we are going to call all of them as Spring bean classes. What is this? Spring bean classes. Spring bean classes means what? Either it can be the Pojo class or it can be the Java bean class. We are going to learn about Spring later. I'm not talking much on this. But why I started with this topic today? Because you guys know about private, about setter getter, about extending the class, about implementing the interface, about constructor. That's it. I just want to know, I just want to teach you or tell you about I want to give information about what is the Pojo class and what is the Java bean class. Just only it will be like a revision for you for your core concept what you learned. Okay, that's what the thing. Now coming to actual sessions. Okay, we'll continue like this. And okay, our session is about Spring Boot and microservices, right? But directly I told you we cannot enter into Spring Boot. That's why tomorrow our discussion will be, first of all, what is the benefit of developing the software applications by using frameworks? Next, what are the different layers of the application, the software application? Okay, correct? Next, we are going to understand what are the Java technologies available for implementing the layers. Okay, after that, slowly, what frameworks are introduced? I'll talk about Struts framework a little bit. I'll talk about Hibernate framework a little bit. I'll talk about Spring framework. Then next, I'm going to tell you about how Spring framework is occupied the entire application development. Okay, so basics of Spring, first I will explain. Right, okay. Once you got to know about the basics of the Spring, then next we are going to look at about Spring Boot. Directly, we are not going to enter into Spring Boot. First, what we are going to discuss Spring Core. Spring Core means the basics of the Spring framework. Spring Core, it's one module. Annotations of the Spring. After learning the Spring Core and Spring annotations, then we are going to enter into later into the Spring Boot. I'll talk about introduction to Spring Boot at that time. But before that, around for the first, approximately you can think like 10 to 15 days. For the first 2 weeks of classes, we are going to discuss about what only? Spring framework only. Basics of the Spring framework only. Okay, right? After that only next we can enter into what? Spring Boot. Then you can understand Spring Boot very well. Directly from tomorrow, if I start Spring Boot, hey, this is the advantage of the Spring Boot. Okay, that's why we are going to Spring Boot without developing applications with Spring framework. Spring Boot is not a new framework. Again, I won't tell you. Spring Boot is nothing but what? Extension of the Spring framework. It makes application development very faster. Easy and faster. That's what we are going to see. But to learn that Spring Boot, you need some good knowledge on Spring Core module. Which module? Spring Core, basics of the Spring, and core annotations also. So first, tomorrow onwards, we will start with the actual sessions of the Spring. I mean, tomorrow first I'm going to talk about what are called frameworks. What is the benefit of developing the applications using frameworks? Okay, once you got to know about some idea on frameworks, then we are going to understand about what is presentation layer, what is service layer, and what is our business layer, and what is data access layer, and how to develop all these layers using the different technologies of Java, and how to develop all these layers by using different frameworks of Java, how to develop all these applications, all these layers using a single framework called Spring. So I'm going to follow a particular order. First, I'll talk about the technologies available. I'll talk about the frameworks available. Then I'll talk about how we can develop entire application by using Spring framework. Then you'll understand about why Spring framework has got more popularity in the market. Why all the applications are developed by using Spring framework. You are going to learn all these points tomorrow. Tomorrow's session is going to begin our Spring framework. Frameworks topic we will continue from tomorrow.
Sir,
Okay, these are all basics today, whatever I've explained.
Hello.
Am I
Sir,
clear?
Sir, there is entity class and model class is also there. What
They
is
are,
the difference?
we are going to see them at the time of ORM. Don't worry. Entity classes are called Java Bean classes. Okay. Entity classes are called Java Bean classes. We are going to see them.
And model
Model
class?
classes can be Java Bean classes or Pojo classes. Okay. Model class is for storing the data. Entity classes are used to map with the database tables. So these are the big terms as of now. Okay, these are all we are going to discuss around after it 2-3 weeks later, after 3 weeks. Okay, right. I will explain. Okay, don't worry. I'll keep everything. I just told already at the beginning of the session. I'll open my mind. Everything, whatever is there, I'll keep in front of you. Okay, don't worry. Thanks. That's for today's, guys. So how I'm going to share these notes with you? Through our Ashok IT portal. Okay. So you will get access to the portal and I will upload the class notes there and you guys can able to download. Okay. I'm going to upload these notes into the Ashok IT portal.